The president and his mob of miscreants have paid over $4 billion to kill various wind farm projects across the country. For the few of us that have been screaming into the void about this kind of thing since the big, beautiful budget bill was passed last year, this hasn't really been a surprise at all. They've been telling us that they were going to slash funding for wind and solar in favor of fossil fuels. Earlier this week, we as a country agreed to pay $1.22 billion to German firm RWE to cancel its offshore wind leases off the coasts of New York, California, and Louisiana in order to redirect the funds towards liquefied natural gas, or LNG. RWE initially paid around $1.1 billion for its New York lease at a 2022 auction held by the Biden administration and about $163 million for its Louisiana and California contracts. RWE says that they took the deal because they didn't see a path forward in the foreseeable future, and this frees up their money to be used on projects they're more certain will advance. They are set to spend around $900 million on a 16% stake in a Louisiana LNG project helmed by Australian company Woodside Energy to build a terminal and a $300 million deal to develop a pipeline of 15 natural gas peaker plants across the country. It's worth noting that a report from last fall released by the Environmental Integrity Project found that every single fully operational LNG facility in the United States has recently or is continuing to violate federal pollution limits, which include discharging large quantities of heavy metals and oil and bacteria into waterways. Many want to tout LNG as the cleanest fossil fuel, but the bar isn't even on the floor, it's in hell, just like us. Total Energies and Duke Energy also had green projects canceled this year, equating to another $2.7 billion taxpayer dollars. Canceled offshore wind leases off the coast of 7 states. Total Energies is also supposed to reinvest their money into a different LNG terminal, this time in Texas, as well as invest in more drilling in the Gulf of Mexico, where they specifically noted this would help the United States further their data center buildouts. Originally, Trump was trying to stop these wind projects via executive order, but they've resorted to just outright paying the firms to get them to stop. And you may ask yourself, why does the administration want to kill these projects? It's green energy, but they were already set in motion, and one of the reasons inflation is so high is the cost of energy. So anything to bring down costs would be not only great for the reputation of the Republicans in charge, but also the people of this nation, right? Well, you would be forgetting that Trump absolutely hates wind turbines. He calls them big, ugly windmills, like he's Don Quixote, and he thinks they're harmful to wildlife, namely birds, which he doesn't believe are able to navigate around these absolutely massive structures, and whales, which he believes are having difficulties communicating via whale song and are dying in unprecedented numbers due to offshore turbines. Obviously, these are not direct quotes because I'm using words with more than 2 syllables. After some of his statements about mass bird casualties, Aberdeenshire actually conducted a 2-year-long study to see if they were committing a bird genocide with these turbines and found absolutely 0 bird strikes. Also, this isn't the 1986 film Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home. The whales are probably fine with the turbines. This weird attitude might have started in about 2012 when 11 turbines were planned next to Trump's Aberdeen, Scotland golf course. At the time they were finally built in 2018, they were the most powerful wind turbines in the world and generated enough electricity for 80,000 homes, which is something he could have grabbed onto and really ran with. But instead he says they're ugly and they ruined the view. I personally think windmills look really cool. He sued and then appealed to the UK Supreme Court, but all of his pleas fell on deaf ears, and he's been railing against wind power ever since. He's a petty man, so what can you expect? Every time he shows up in the UK, he talks about how windmills are ruining Europe's fields and valleys. Actual windmills have been around since around the 17th century BCE, so he's a little late to this. It's like arguing against roads at this point. Keeps insisting that they quit building windmills in the North Sea and to drill for more oil there instead. The North Sea is out of oil. It's bone dry. The North Sea oil boom peaked in 1999 and has been on a downward trend for over 25 years now. It's absolutely ludicrous to suggest it. Even if they wanted to drill for oil in the North Sea, it's a fool's errand. So what's going to happen? Currently, New York is suing, California is suing, everybody's suing. Taxpayers are obviously providing the funds for bribes to fossil fuel donors. Coal's also gotten a $1.1 billion boost during this presidential term. There will probably be more of these situations in the future. They're taking money from the Department of the Interior, so that's also something we need to watch. As far as Europe, they're continuing to build out their wind power with Belgium, Denmark, France, Germany, Iceland, Ireland, Luxembourg, the UK, the Netherlands, and Norway pledging to build 100 gigawatts of offshore wind projects in January to reduce their dependency on fossil fuels from Russia and probably us as well. About a quarter of Europe's energy comes from LNG, and the United States has been the biggest exporter since Russia's been tied up and sanctioned. When the war in Ukraine started, Europe was really excited to get gas from us instead of Russia, who is seen as extremely unreliable for a variety of reasons. But this administration has even made buying fossil fuels a headache with too many stipulations and strings attached.